Here inside Quicken Loans Arena, the Cavs have wrapped up their 5-game homestand. They go 4-1 in the homestand. Chris Fedor, Chris Haynes, Joe Vardon with you to recap the latest win for the Cavs. Guys, this time against the Minnesota Timberwolves. It was a game that a lot of people were looking forward to because obviously Andrew Wiggins, Anthony Bennett, the big trade for Kevin Love playing against his old team. Sluggish at first, but the Cavs turned it on in the second half, Chris.
Anthony Bennett, he actually played?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to call what Anthony Bennett did tonight playing.
Okay.
He was taking up space out there. That's about it.
Oh, okay. He get paid to do something, I guess. But no, Cavaliers, the first half, Minnesota Timberwolves, they stayed in there. They fought, and I think the Cavs were they let down a little bit playing to a level of competition. But I think we saw that talent and experience just overwhelmed Minnesota in the second half, particularly in that third quarter when Kyrie, I believe he scored 11 points in that quarter, LeBron scored 8 in that quarter, really took things over, and they ended up finishing that third quarter off on a 16-1 run. Fourth quarter, they couldn't get in there. They didn't have anybody going. Andrew Wiggins was a surprise. I'll leave that up. You probably want to set Joe up or somebody else up for that, but he was definitely a surprise of the night. But overall, I think the Cavs took care of business.
I'm laughing because you said a lot of people were looking forward to this game. A Tuesday night, December 23rd against the Timberwolves with Christmas Day on the horizon, LeBron's return to Miami. Seemed like there were bigger things coming down the pike here.
Tell them, Joe.
But,
sorry,
but you're right.
Reporter.
Well, but you're right. I mean, and actually I mentioned this too, like, if not for those individual matchups with Wiggins and Love, and I guess Anthony Bennett, but I don't know. It would have been a total hopelessness tonight. But, and actually I thought the game played that way. I mean, I know everybody denied it, but the Cavs were pretty messy in the first half. They really were. It took a while to get it together, and you win by 21, so it looks like everything's fine. But this was it was a mess early on.
125-104, the final tonight against the Timberwolves. Chris, you mentioned it, Andrew Wiggins, the blockbuster trade that went down this offseason. Are the Cavs having any regret whatsoever when it comes to that trade?
No, I don't think they're having any regrets. This is not something I think they're going to look at now and judge and assess because, this is a process. The Cavs have a championship window of probably about 3 or 4 year period. So they're going to base it, surely upon that. Andrew Wiggins, they knew when they gave him up he was going to be a talent. They knew when he came in here there was going to be some enticement of guys or the fan base saying, hey, I'll tell you, I saw Twitter talking about, hey, we should have kept him, But they made the right move. They made the right move, and you have to think short term right now, especially with this situation. A lot of people like to think long term, but short term for this situation, this is the best move to get this system and get this process accelerated to the next stage. And they did that with bringing on Kevin Love.
Wiggins, one of the many players that got to 20-plus points tonight, 27 for the rookie for Minnesota, 2 away from his career high. But the Cavs, Joe, had 3 players get to that mark. Kyrie Irving led the way. LeBron James had 24. Kevin Love had 20. But we have grown to expect greatness from the big 3. Other guys stepped up. Shawn Marion, Dion Waiters again. Second night in a row for Dion.
Well, I don't know how the final minutes broke down, but Dion Waiters' minutes increased dramatically. Mike Miller's, though he started, decreased. And for the second night in a row now, you really saw Dion Waiters play assertive but under control. And he actually missed the dunk, but he went in for a dunk that was so fearless. And had he completed that, it would have been one of the plays of the year. And I know Dion's the trade piece. I know that's what we all think and expect, especially if he continues to play better. But boy, they need someone like him who can bring that kind of effort and play within the system.
2 scares, though, tonight, Chris, for the Cavs. First, it was Kevin Love. He went down. He injured his thumb again, the thumb that he originally injured against Brooklyn. He goes back to the locker room, has x-rays, precautionary, said they came back negative. David Griffin, the GM of the Cavs, he bolted to the locker room as soon as he saw Kevin Love going back there. Love, though, comes back into the game, 11 points after injuring that thumb, continues to fight through it. He said after the game that he was just scared.
Yeah, it was something that he's been playing with. He first injured that thumb against Brooklyn. I believe somebody just getting entangled up in somebody's shirt. And the good thing about that was that you see him the next day at practice shooting with a wrap. So that shows that he's used to or accustomed to playing with pain, even on a shooting hand. So you knew he was going to be able to probably get back out there and go. Now, if he went straight to that locker room, instead of going to the bench first, then that was a bad sign. Just like as we've seen with Varejao.
Yeah.
He didn't return. Because when you go to that locker room, you just bolt straight through there. That's not a good sign.
And Andy did. He went down a left ankle injury, according to head coach David Blatt after the game. He was seen leaving the arena on crutches. I didn't really see what happened. Did anybody see what happened when it came to Varejao? Because they showed the one replay on the TV screen and on the big screen, but he was blocked out by a defender. Yeah. So everybody in the media room here after the game, guys, was like, what the heck happened to Andy? What happened on that play?
Yeah, I can't help you. I remember the play. It was something where Minnesota had scored on the other end, and it was right just at a time where Cleveland just did not look good. And so you're watching Minnesota score. I think it was on another easy bucket, and there's a timeout, and then you look up, and you know Kevin Love's already in the locker room, and it's, oh, by the way, the starting center is writhing in pain underneath the other hoop. It was a tumultuous couple minutes.
And the thing about that is a couple things. One, it looked like similar to the Phantom Punch of Muhammad Ali, knocking out Sonny Liston. Nobody's seen it. Now the problem with that is when it pertaining to Anderson Varejao, if there was no contact, that's scary. Because usually, when there's no contact, nobody hits you, there's no connection there, that's when it's something really serious. Yeah. So hopefully we just weren't able to see the proper angle of a hit. Hopefully there was a hit, because that means, we could probably be back relatively soon.
Tomorrow he's going to be evaluated further, and David Blatt said it's kind of a wait and see. Kyrie Irving said wait and see. LeBron said the same thing. So if we go forward and Anderson Varejao misses time, obviously this means a big opportunity for Tristan Thompson. How much of a step back is that for the Cavs with Andy coming out of the lineup and Tristan taking on more minutes? Or is it a step up for the Cavs?
No, you can't say it's a step up. Definitely, Tristan Thompson was definitely in his role for the last 2-3 weeks, probably outplaying Anderson Varejao. But you need both of those guys. Yeah. They complement one another. Anderson Varejao is a better pick-and-roll type player. Tristan Thompson gets most of his boards off, roaming and getting the lobs or getting offensive rebounds. And so it was nice to have that 1-2 punch in there. Now we have Tristan playing in extended minutes. He's not going to be as fresh. He's not going to be able to probably produce the same amount, for a larger stretches of time. Then who's going to back up Tristan?
Yeah.
That's going to be an issue right there. So, no, they're definitely not better without him.
I think you bring up a good point there when you talk about who backs up Tristan and who backs up Kevin Love, too. That's the other thing, because when Love went down after injuring his thumb, the first person that came off the bench was Shawn Marion. And I'm thinking, my goodness, we're going to play Shawn Marion at the 4 here. We've played him at the 2. We've played him at the 3. Now we're going to play him at power forward. The Cavs already have a weakness inside, Joe, on the interior, giving up a ton of points in the paint. And if you're going to downsize even more and put either LeBron at the 4, Shawn Marion at the 4, that's really going to hurt them even more.
If Andy is hurt like we think he is, this will cause the team to react, because they are very thin in the front court, and almost catastrophically so. If he's really hurt, they would have to go out and do something. Even if it's a short-term fix, because this is the kind of injury that can really hurt this team. They just don't have the answer there.
Chris, that brings me to a name. A lot of people around the NBA talking about this player. A lot of people in the cleveland.com comment section talking about this player. He's not really a 3, not really a 4, kind of in between. Josh Smith, available after Detroit completely let him go. Houston has an interest. Miami has an interest. Sacramento has an interest. Do the Cavs have an interest? Should they have an interest?
Golly. See, before this game, I would just would look stared at you for like 5 seconds.
That's fine.
But the fact is, we don't know what is going to happen with Anderson Varejao.
Okay.
And even though Josh Smith is not a center, I think you have to do your due diligence and at least give the man a call.
Okay.
Gauge his interest. See if he's willing to take a couple steps down in the rotation, a couple less shots. You have to at least see. But that's going to be, I'm leaning towards no, but you got to at least see. Okay. But can you imagine Josh Smith and Dion Waiters on the same team?
Fantastic. The weather and the taxes are so much better in Cleveland than they are in Detroit.
Oh my goodness.
I think he'll sign up.
Wait, can I answer my own question here, guys? I mean, you're kind of going back and forth, and you're talking about... All right, the injury to Anderson Varejao. You can tell me that Andy gets hurt, Kevin Love gets hurt, you're not going to have Tristan Thompson for a stretch, and I am still not touching Josh Smith. No, thank you. There are certain guys in the NBA that I want nowhere near the basketball team that I'm covering, or nowhere near what I think can be a championship contending team. And he is on that list. Him, Lance Stevenson. He can pass. Smith can. He can shoot every now and then. He can get steals.
I wouldn't go there. That's too many compliments.
I mean, he can do things, but you don't want him anywhere near your basketball team. Think about this.
I think that's what's going to happen. Let's not spend a lot of time on hypothetical.
Think about
that's
this.
Not going to happen.
Josh Smith was paid $36 million to go away. And this is a championship contending team. No thanks. No. Will not do it.
Well, you're the one who asked.
And he's answering it. Okay.
I can answer my own questions here. I'm just a man of the people asking the questions that they want to know.
This has been another edition.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Thank you for reading.
Yeah, from Joe Vardon to Chris. From Chris Fedor.
You got this.
To Joe Vardon to Chris Haynes. This has been another edition of Your Insiders here on cleveland.com. Whatever he says, we'll be with you next time. Sometime.
Good night.
Good night.